Good morning. It's January 24th. I'm headed downtown. It's a little bit before dawn, not terribly dark, but darkish. Darker to my eyes than it is to the camera, as usual. Um, I'm meeting somebody at 1 o'clock, actually, whom I am working on a script for a musical. And I want to get a couple more scenes under my belt before then, so I thought I'd go down, work in the coffee shops this morning, and then make my way to the hotel where we're meeting. So I get a bit of a pre-dawn glimpse here as I walk along. Sun will probably be up in, I didn't check, but probably in about 20 minutes, maybe a bit less. So we're not too far from dawn. But it only takes 20 minutes to walk down there, so my arrival in downtown Regina will probably correspond to the arrival of the sun. I don't know if I think it's cloudy. It's always hard to tell this time of the morning, but I think it is. Already did some publishing work this morning. 2 press releases for the most recent releases. Backwater Mystic Blues, a second collection of essays by Mary Lou? Hey. Second collection of essays by Lloyd Ratzlaff, Saskatchewan author. And then today is kind of the official publication date, although it's actually out already, most places, of Dolly Bird, which is a historical novel set in 1906 Saskatchewan about a young woman who's daughter of a doctor in Newfoundland. Wants to be a doctor herself, but she's managed to get herself pregnant. Well, managed to, as if you don't know how that happened. And she's banished to Saskatchewan without much in the way of support, since her money is stolen along the way. So she ends up as a dolly bird, which apparently was a term at the time for young women. They might be housekeepers. Sometimes they were whores, basically. Sometimes they were both. I'd never heard the term until I heard of this book, which was originally published in 2010 by Coteau Books, who of course was also one of my former publishers, but went bankrupt. I've now picked up, I think this is the 3rd Coteau Books title that I'm bringing out in a new edition. Anyway, this one won the Willa Literary Award for historical fiction when it came out. And the author's name is Anne Lazurko, and she's from Weyburn, which is where I'm from, more or less. Wasn't born there, but grew up there mostly. And her most recent book, What Is Written on the Tongue, published by ECW Press, was a finalist for the Glengarry Book Award. So fits perfectly into the Chautauqua Press Reprise imprint, which is new editions of notable previously published work. Now, whether anybody buys it or not, I can't control, but I certainly hope it sells a few copies, and at least it's out there now. And most of these reprise titles are like that. It's like keeping things available that otherwise would have faded into the out-of-print limbo. As usual, my path will be somewhat constrained by how I hit the lights on Albert Street. Get across Albert Street, but I don't want to go as far as Victoria, because the coffee shop I'm going to, which I went to once before on a morning walk like this, is on Rose, just south of Victoria. If you're looking at a map, that will mean something to you. Mostly cloudy, I think. So it's -7 this morning. which would be what, about 19 Fahrenheit? Something like that. Again, our snow is looking very old and tired. We've had it for a while now. Needs a freshening up. So that's what I'll be doing this morning, is riding on this musical. And this afternoon, I'll send out some social media stuff around Dollybird being released. And at 4:30, I'm interviewing Eli Williams, who's an author I met at CanCon in Ottawa earlier this year. Oh, look, you can see inside this time of morning of the old government telephone building that's now part of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. Here you can see Leopold's Tavern sign lit up still. Anyway, he lives in Japan at the moment, and or he's in Japan, and we had to coordinate that. Open for breakfast. Huh. Oh, you can see inside Specs here too. So it's 4:30 my time. It's 7:30 in the morning his time. That was about the best compromise we could come up with. And it'll be, of course, the next morning for him, Friday morning. We already ran into one scheduling conflict because I forgot about the international dateline, so I was a whole day off on when I met with him. We'll go on up Albert just because the lights are more interesting this time of day. Also, it's easy to walk up this side of Albert because all the streets are one way, so you can always see if you can jag walk, which I can, clearly. Just double checking the focus there. Sometimes when it's a little dim, the focus isn't great. In fact, I know for a fact I won't be walking around the lake this week, so by the time I walk around the lake again, which won't be the week after that either, sunrise is going to be quite a bit earlier. So I've done my walking around the lake in the dark. Cossack Studios over there on the bottom, where my daughter danced and worked. I don't actually know what Nychuk and Company is. I'm beginning to think this coffee shop is closed permanently. I haven't seen it on for a while. Old apartment building here. Everything just looks more interesting at this time of the day with the lights. Even a little earlier would have been better, but I was busily getting my press releases out for the 2 releases this month. Oh, hello. I'll see who that is as soon as I get it where I can see it. Kenton, hello. Might as well go all the way to 13. I think I'm going to hit this crosswalk just about right. First Presbyterian Church over there, that's where we got married a little over 25 years ago now. We'll turn right up here at 13th. Walk down to Rose, and then it's just a little ways north of that to the coffee shop I'm headed to work this morning. then my walk home will be much later, mid-afternoon sometime. Probably 3-ish, I'd guess. Let me just guess. Edward Street Chiropractic Center. A Lot Club, which is a gay club. Chamber of Commerce. I always figured they should have a bigger office than they do, but it's theirs. Indian Bistro here. Very odd place that's been more empty than not. Karaoke and sushi in here. I've never done karaoke there, but I've had sushi. Strip mall over there. Tall building is the Viterra building. Used to be the Saskatchewan Wheat Pool. And here's Fire Hall number 1 on my right. We're going to walk down that way now, past it. There's Viet Thai, our favorite Viet Thai restaurant. Big building up on our right here is Credit Union Center. There, Cathedral Social Hall as well, which is a pub, a kind of place. There's Fire Hall number 1. The SGI building over there, and City Hall with its golden crown, which always seems to have one light burned out. Nobody parked under there at the moment. This will take us by what used to be the Y, but apparently is going to be something else very soon. Health Center, the Nest Health Center, it says. And there's, oh, the crown just went out on City Hall since I walked from the last alley to here. It turned off. We are walking due east now, so you can see cloudy. Ain't gonna be no purty sunrise this morning. Just an office building over there. There's a daycare in here still. Don't know if it's going to stay or not if this place redevelops. Been able to see in there for a while. Doesn't look like they've made any changes since it was the Y. Looks exactly the same. Here's the daycare. That has a certain emptiness to it, so I think, I wonder if the daycare is gone already. I thought I saw a sign somewhere else, like maybe it was relocating, so maybe it's already left here. I would expect there to be kids there by now if it was still open, so. That's where our daughter went for her earliest daycare. Well, no, actually her earliest daycare was over where Martin Collegiate is, next to Balfour. But, no, Miller, not Martin. Miller? Martin. One of those two. But then she came here. This was handy because they ran a bus here from the kindergarten that she went to. And then when she was done here after her kindergarten year, she started going to Dragon's Den, which is a daycare that was right in the school, Davin School. So And she did that until she was, I don't know, grade 5 or something, until she was, you know, one of the old kids who didn't want to be in daycare anymore. But it was very helpful. So it wasn't really daycare there, it was after school care. So made it easier for me because I would be around our working and all of that. So anyway, it all worked out. Then of course came high school, and now she'll be graduating from university this year, which is hard to believe. And then graduate school after that somewhere, so probably take a year off. We might get her home for a year, which would be nice. The apartment building. Salvation Army to my left. Look down the alley. This GI building still has its light on. These gloves just aren't warm enough even for this relatively mild weather. They're my sort of driving gloves, and I keep thinking I can wear them when it's about this temperature, but my hands get cold. I should just wear my bigger, bulkier, warmer gloves. Old apartment building there. There's the hotel over there. Well, behind this building is the hotel, Saskatchewan, where I will be later. A couple more blocks this way, though, right now. To that condo building right there in front of us. That's where the coffee shop is I'll be going into. So, not too far now. There's the Sask Power building from the back. And the federal office building is that Art Deco-ish place in between there with the tower, and then the hotel to the left, Hotel Saskatchewan. TV building further down there. When we first moved here to this neighborhood, the building ended where that brick ends. All that glass up there was built about, well, I guess it's probably 20 years ago now, or even more. Downtown, of course, is that way. Now start to see the Twin Towers. Down there. But again, I'm headed to that building right there. There's the back of the Sask Power building with the Blessed Sacrament Catholic Church in front of it. I think that belongs, well, I don't know what's in there entirely. I know there was a health department, had offices of some sort in there. Just to walk by quite often. The old apartment buildings over there. Oh, clouds kind of thin up there, so it looks like the sun will eventually pop through. I don't know what's that in aid of. Oh, street's closed off. That's annoying because or would have been annoying because I sometimes go down that street if I've taken my wife downtown. Or I've driven down there myself. I would often go that way, but I wouldn't today, clearly. What they're doing, tearing it up, it looks like. Another old apartment building over here. But not as old as the one over there. A bunch more heavy trucks. Must be digging up the street pretty thoroughly if they need this many trucks. broken water main or something like that, maybe. There's where we're headed. Across from what used to be the bus depot. Now there's not even a bus service anymore. Saskatchewan STC, Saskatchewan Transportation Company, was a government-run bus service that lost money in the millions and eventually got shut down, which is a shame for two reasons. One, I used to like to take the bus to Saskatoon, not have to drive. And two, it figures in my Shards of Excalibur series, and if anything dates the series, there's other stuff too, because it's a contemporary fantasy, but that means, of course, it quickly becomes all the contemporary references start to fade into the back. But one thing for sure is the fact that they take the STC bus. There's twice it figures into the story. And you can't get to there from here no more on the bus. There's the SAS Power Building again. So we're going to go into this coffee shop here. I will stop on here somewhere before I go in. Doesn't have very comfortable chairs, but it's comfortable enough otherwise for working. Looks like it's pretty open right now. So we'll stop here, and I'll be back probably about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thanks for walking with me. Good afternoon. It's January 24th, still, just like it was when I walked this morning, but now it's afternoon. And as I said this morning, I ended up at the Hotel Saskatchewan. I had a meeting with a fellow I'm working on a musical based on his notes, and well, he wrote the music and the story, and I'm just turning that into a script. That's basically what's happening. So I'm inside the Hotel Saskatchewan looking out at their parking lot, and now I'm heading home. There you go. Question is, which way do I go? Do I walk through the hotel? Let's walk through the hotel today and go out the front, walk down Victoria Avenue to start, I think. So this is the Hotel Saskatchewan. Brief glimpse of the lobby as we head on out onto Victoria Avenue. Got a lot done today, lots of writing. Did a book launch for Dolly Bird, which is the latest release from Shadowpaw Press Reprise. The side of my publishing, one of my publishing companies, I have two now. I don't know how that happened. Yes, I do, but still. Which publishes new editions of notable previously published work. Dolly Bird was originally published by Kato Books, whose office we will walk right by if I keep going down Victoria here. And now I've put it out in the new edition, now widely available everywhere. Anyway, I was doing some of that, and I wrote 3 scenes, I think, of this musical I'm working on, which is a Second World War story. And I'm headed home. Down Victoria Avenue, there's Victoria Park over there. You can see it's clearer than it was. It was actually completely sunny for a while, but I was inside while that was happening. Now it's starting to cloud over a bit again. We go by the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, which is here in the Administration Center for Sport, Culture, and Recreation, former Land Titles building. Over there is Knox Metropolitan United Church. Beyond that is City Hall. And again, this is Victoria Park here. Our path here will take us right by First Baptist Church, which was heavily damaged, as was Knox Metropolitan United Church in the 1912 tornado, which basically came right down this street up ahead of us, Warren Avenue. Started touchdown somewhere over by the legislature, or the other side of the legislature, which was under construction at the time. It was First Baptist. Came basically right down Warren Avenue here and carried on to the other side of the city and killed 22 people, was it? I think, or was it 12? 22 people. Yeah, there's Knox Met. And again, looking downtown to, I can cross here, there's nobody coming. In fact, right here, oh no, not this one. Some of these historical images that they have on these power boxes show damage from the tornado. Yeah, right, that one there kind of shows Lorne Avenue with the tornado damage on it. Here's an old historical picture of First Baptist Church, if you go up and down. And an even older one here, I think. And the land titles building I just walked by. What's on this side of this one? This is also tornado damage. You can see Knox Met over there. After the tornado had damaged it, you can see it's quite truncated. You look there, and look down there. Cool, huh? (1912), and it's still the worst tornado disaster in Canadian history. Not the worst disaster in Canadian history by any means. What happened? I got a weird message there. I hope I'm still streaming here. I guess I am. Here's the Balfour, my favorite apartment building facade. I just like its. I just like the looks of it. Very classical. It has condos and apartments in it. When we were looking, these were rentals over here, and those are condos over there. Don't know if that's still true or not, but that's what it was 25 years ago. Again, there's City Hall. When I walked by this morning, I looked down the alley, and then by the time I got to the street, the crown at the top, which is kind of a golden lights up there in that top floor, one of which is always burned out. I've never seen them all working, it seems like. Had just gone out, so ooh, that was exciting. I guess I'll keep walking this way. Since I mentioned Coteau Books, I might as well go by their offices. It's now a lawyer's office here. I even got a walk light here. I didn't have to jaywalk. Courthouse over here, you can tell because it has a sign on it that says courthouse. Here, I never walk down here. Let's walk along here. The Scenic route. I have never once in all these years walked along this piece of sidewalk here. And now I have. So there is that. It's slick along here, actually. I think that's the North Canadian Orioles building, is what it used to be called. I presume it is. There's a pretty nice restaurant, coffee shop on the bottom floor there, or there was. Why is there fencing around it? Has it gone away? Or is it just something else going on there? Looks like the lights are on as usual inside there. I have written in there sometimes, but I don't usually think of that one, and I'm not entirely sure why. There's some very old bits of architecture. VR stood for Victoria Regina. Regina is, of course, Queen in Latin, and that's where the name of the city came from, only for some reason we decided to pronounce it Regina. Not sure why. A lot of these power things have artwork on them. But the one back there with the old pictures was particularly interesting, since it tied into what you see right away when you're standing there. There used to be a hotel there, and then it was supposed to be the tallest building in Saskatchewan, and it never developed. They dug a hole, but they never built the building. Here's where Coteau Books was, which originally published Dolly Bird, which I have just now republished through Shadowpaw Press Reprise. They've been bankrupt and gone for a while now. Cooperators is what that is now. We'll cut off the corner here and go through the gas station, Esso station, better known as Exxon in the US. Here it's Esso. So the sun is out, but it's not exactly blue sky. Looking for office space. There's some over there too. Used to be a doctor's office there, but not for a while now. So you can see it's below freezing, but you still get enough passive heating on the roads that if it gets up within a few degrees of freezing, the roads will melt off some, which is nice from a driving point of view. There is much colder weather coming. I may have some really cold walks in another week or so. When I get back from Seattle, which is where I'll be by this time next week, if all goes well. Lord willing and the creeks don't rise, as my mother used to say. It's supposed to be like minus 19 or 20 for a high. So much colder, more wintry weather still to come. Cathedral Social Hall over there. Viet Thai over there. Credit Union Central over here. This is 13th. Looks like I'll hit this crosswalk to go this way, which is good because crossing Albert is actually fairly quick on the other side of this, of 13th. You get a crosswalk sooner on the south side than you do on the north side because of the left turn signals and things like that. So I will wait here and cross. Maybe we can see some kitty cats in the cat cafe a little further down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yellow light, red light, walk light. City bus. That church up ahead of us is not a church. It's now the Artesian, which is the performing arts space. It used to be a Church of God, I think. Again, that's number 1 fire hall over there. Strip mall here with various things in it, including this distillery. You can get locally made vodka up here, should you want to. Sperling Silver, I know, or did know anyway, vaguely. Adam Sperling, who runs it, his daughter used to tap dance with my daughter. She's a couple of years older, so she'd be in her 20s now, because my daughter's in her 20s, so go figure. Right there. Nouveau Gallery. We've bought artwork here. Often have attended openings and things. Don't know if they're open. Doesn't look like they're open right now. Here's the cat cafe. Are there any cats in the window? I don't see any. Oh yeah, there's one. Not right in the window. He was asleep a little bit back in the dark. First Presbyterian, again, where we got married 25 years ago. Hasn't cleared its sidewalk very well. Presbyterian. My wife's grandfather was very active with the Presbyterian Church. So when I walked down this morning, I was on the other side of the street. So, you know, giving you a variety here. Old apartment building here has some offices in the bottom, various sorts, somewhat odd sorts, as you can see, acupressure, shiatsu, ear candling, all that stuff. I can't even imagine how they stay in business. Maybe they don't. Maybe the sign is still there, but the business isn't. There's the Braemar, which I walked by this morning on the other side. Space for lease, should you need it. This little print company here, Microprint, has been here forever. You know, they do passport photos. We need passport photos. We always go much further, but it's right here. We could easily. And this, I'm waiting for them to open. Opening soon. Blanco Cantina. It used to be La Bodega. It's very close to our house. I'm not sure I'm convinced by the color choice of the wall, but it's an old house, and it's a place I like to go because it's very, very close to my house. So once it opens, I might do some writing there, or if my wife's away and eating out, I might go there. And again, I think that coffee shop over there has gone out of business. They haven't been open for the last few times I've gone by. Here's the dance studio where my daughter used to dance and worked at one point. Once I get home, what time is it? I have less than an hour. I'll be interviewing a writer who's in Japan at the moment, Eli Williams, for the World Shapers podcast. I'm going to start another podcast in the next few weeks, which will focus more on all kinds of writing and kind of an opportunity to promote new releases. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not exactly sure how often I will do that one. It'll be shorter, half an hour or so probably. A lot of it will focus on authors who are represented by my publicist, Nikki Mickelson, at Creative Edge Publicity. Kind of work in kind to, he does a lot of work for me, representing my authors through Shadowpaw Press. He's also my publicist, so running this podcast will be in exchange for some of that work. Oh, look, there's a big truck in my way. I didn't expect that when I came around the corner. Hopefully there's room to get by him. I'll go this way, around the front. I don't know what that one's going to be called, that podcast. I have started a podcast before, so I'm not at all concerned about the process. Just a matter of giving it a name and getting it launched with my copious free time, which doesn't really exist. But I got some actual writing done today as opposed to publishing stuff, so I need to continue to make my schedule that way. Walking perhaps first thing, no matter what, followed by writing, and in the afternoon publishing. I think I need to break down the day like that, and then it's just a matter of, focusing, trying to be consistent. I need to carve out 3 or 4 hours of writing every day. I'm quite fast. 3 or 4 hours of writing, I can get a lot done. in 3 or 4 hours. I don't have to write all day to get significant amounts of writing done. This morning I did, I don't know how many words. It's a little different because it's a script, but play script. But I did 3 scenes, I think, which is not too bad. About a quarter of a way through the outline I was given for this musical. Right now it's shaping up to be about 4 hours long, minimum. So there may be some cutting to be done, but the first thing to do is to get the script done, and then we can polish it from there. Who knows, I might direct the thing if it goes off. That would be really cool. Certainly as I'm writing it, I'm thinking as much as a director as I am as a writer in some ways, trying to think of the production side of things. So it really is a challenge if you're not familiar with production. It's easy to put things on the page that would be, if not impossible, at least ridiculously difficult or expensive to do on stage. I mean, if you have a big enough budget, you can do anything. But if it's being done locally, it's not going to be a Broadway-sized budget. So anyway, it's been fun. I have another book to write, of course, a nonfiction book that draws on the interviews from the World Shapers podcast, and that one is languishing at the moment. So again, I need to carve out, and plus I have a YA book I was making progress on, and now it's stalled again. I need to structure my day so that I simply don't do all the publishing stuff, and there's always publishing stuff, hour after hour of publishing stuff. I need to structure my day so I'm writing takes priority, and I think the way to do that is to write in the morning, have lunch, do other stuff in the afternoon, publishing and other stuff in the afternoon. I think that's the logical way to break up the day. All I have to do is do it. Do it. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd, but you can be happy if you have a mind to it, as Roger Miller famously sang. All you got to do is put your mind to it. Just knuckle down, buckle down, do it. You can't change film with a kid on your back either, I hear from that same song. So, a number of things you can't do, but you can be happy if you put your mind to it. And presumably, you can get some writing done if you put your mind to it. Anyway, that's my plan. New Year's resolution, but here it is, January 24th. And I haven't exactly made it click yet, but oh well. This week is weird because I have a colonoscopy on Friday, which means starting tomorrow. I've got all that lovely prep work to do. Friday is completely taken up by the procedure. Next week, Tuesday, is when I fly to Seattle, so that whole day's shot. Well, a large portion of it anyway. Although, I'll probably get there quite early. I may get there so early I can't check into my hotel, which will be a pain. But I'll certainly have time to work. Then there's the conference, which is 2 days, 2 full days basically. And then back again. So come February, things should be a bit more settled, I hope. Anyway, there you go. I have now walked back from downtown, which is always required when you walk to downtown, as I did this morning. Nobody said hello, so I don't know if anybody was watching. So if you were, that would be great. If you weren't and you're watching the replay, thanks for that. As of the last time I checked today, I'm at 699 subscribers. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, you could be number 700, which will get you nothing except you'll be number 700, which would be cool. So thanks for walking with me. I'll be back tomorrow, probably another walk downtown. I have to go get a haircut tomorrow at the Hotel Saskatchewan, so that's probably what I'll do tomorrow. Until then, bye for now.